Here's what I'm using to stitch on this cute little cardigan. My water-soluble paper, a needle threader, and then a couple months ago I got these humongous needles by accident, but they'll come in handy here. And then I'm choosing my colors from this super soft cotton matte thread that DMC sells, I believe, just at Michael's. And these are the colors that I picked out. It's kind of like a thin cotton yarn. And then my friction heat erasable pen. I'm using a heat erasing pen on this in case I make any mistakes. Then I could just heat erase them. But I tried a couple different flowers and I'm going with one larger flower and then little daisies. This water-soluble paper from Sulky is self-adhesive and it sticks really nicely to the sweater. Now I'm going to take some of my thread and my needle threader here. And this is how this works if you've not tried it before. So you stick the needle threader through and then you place your cotton yarn or thread on top of that hook and pull it through and it pops right on. It's so simple and so much easier, especially with something like yarn. And then I knot the end. We'll slow it down here. This is how I do my knots, and I have a few tutorials and other playlists for this. Starting at the bottom here, I'm going to use a stem stitch for the stem and then for the leaf as well. So you go a stitch length and leave a little loop, come up through the middle of that loop on the same line and pull your thread. Skip a stitch length and go down again, leaving a little loop, and then you're going to bring your needle back up through the middle. Make sure you always bring your needle up on the same side of the loop. In this case, I'm bringing it up always on the right side. I feel like this stick and stitch paper is a must-have for the sweater because it works as a stabilizer to make sure that this knitted fabric isn't stretching the whole time you're stitching. It keeps it still, and then it's much easier to make all of your stitches even. You don't want to pull too tightly when you're stitching here. You want your stitches to be snug, but not pull too tight. And I do that all the way to the top of the stem, and then I'm going to come down and use the same type of stitch for the leaf. Now, one little tip I have here is that when you make your last stitch for the leaf, make sure that you tuck it slightly under the stitches you did for the stem so it stays all nicely connected. To secure the thread on the other side, we're going to tuck our needle under a couple stitches of the knit and thread, make a little loop, and then take your needle through 2 times through that loop and pull it. Don't yank it too tight. Place your finger there so you can pinch and tighten, and that'll create a knot. And then we're going to switch colors. Using our needle threader again. Pops right through. And I'm just doing 3 stitches here for the petals. So one long one from the top down to the bottom. And then the next side stitches, you're going to come down a little bit, but almost under. You want it to be as close as possible to the previous stitch. I kind of slid the middle one out of the way so I could tuck it just under slightly, and then it comes down next to it at the base. You could try an extra stitch or 2 on either side if you wanted, but I think the 3 looks nice here for this. And so each of these petals, I just do 3 straight stitches, again pulling it snug but not too tight. And you'll go the whole way around, and then for the center, I did a French knot. So you come up through the middle, wrap your needle around 2 times. Keep it tight with your opposite hand while you insert the needle back down into the center and then slowly release. And stay tuned for part 2.